Hello, Just Gem here, and welcome, or indeed welcome back to my channel. When I woke up this morning, one of my eyes was swollen, so I've been potting about the house. I've taken my braids out, so I took my braids out yesterday, I've washed my hair, blow dried my hair, all to give my eye a chance to come down, and it's still a little bit swollen, but I don't want to poke the bear basically and apply makeup. Eye makeup especially, so I'm not going to. But I still wanted to film, and I thought, what can I film if I'm not going to be applying makeup? And I was like, well, I can talk about some makeup. Rather fittingly, two brands that I have recently discovered are releasing palettes within days of each other. So the brands in question, let's see if I can do this with some degree of finesse, highly unlikely, but we'll see. So the brands in question are Nomad Cosmetics and Blend Bunny. I've pulled out the palettes that I have from each brand so far. As I say, both actually quite new to me. I've been hearing about them both, but it's taken me a while to take the plunge. And they are each releasing a palette, and kind of Blend Bunny especially, I feel like they've been sneak peeking for quite a long time at this point, and then more recently Nomad has been doing some sneak peeks. And Nomad, they're a brand that does palettes based on a location, so they play a guessing game and they give you clues and you have to sort of guess the location that the palette is based on. Really,
this
Alexa?
Is a reminder.
Really?
Take my iron.
That's Alexa reminding me to take some iron because I'm anemic, so I'll go and do that shortly. A good chance I'll forget because I've told her to be quiet now. She's not going to remind me again, so I'm going to forget, but never mind. What was I saying? Yeah, Nomad do a guessing game based on a location, release some clues. They have a competition that's going, and I think they give some free palettes to people who manage to guess the location based on the clues. Both full reveals have been shown, and I will put one either side. Let's start with the one that was revealed first, so that's Blend Bunny. And Blend Bunny have done a collaboration with Donidarkowitz, who I do follow on socials. I think she's very, very talented. I love the kind of slightly quirky looks that she does. Like, she kind of always, her eyebrows are always bleached, and she does like really kind of funky, colourful looks. So I follow her for the looks that she creates, and I find her really inspiring. And so when I was seeing this tease, I was like, yes, because if it's being curated by a person of colour, there is a good chance it's going to work for me. I can't imagine there's going to be a shade in that palette that is not going to work for me. Based on that alone, I was really, really excited. And then I saw the sneak peek, and it's the cross showing the shimmers within the palette. And that kind of piqued my interest, but you could, if you looked really carefully, like you could tell Sarah, I mean, I kind of zoomed in and I looked really closely, and I could kind of see the other shades, and I was thinking, this is going to be a rainbow palette, like classic full-on rainbow palette, isn't it? And it's funny because I was watching Angie's video where she was talking about like new makeup releases, and it went up on Friday after the palette reveal, but obviously she'd filmed it before then, and she showed a picture of the reveal of the cross shimmer shades, and she said, this looks really interesting, I hope it's not a rainbow palette. And I couldn't help but kind of chuckle to myself because, you know, as we've now seen, it's fully a rainbow palette. It does have a blue row, a green row, and a purple row. There's a part of me that immediately was like, yes, I want it. I'm not too fussed about the red row. I'm just going to pull it back up again so I can have a look at it to kind of refresh my memory. Yeah, so there's a red row. I don't know. When it was fully revealed, it's not like I looked at it and I thought, oh my god, wow, I need to have it. I was just kind of like, oh. I mean, I think I was a bit disappointed, to be honest, because it's another rainbow. I mean, I did an entire video on like why you shouldn't buy the Ellis palette, because that's effectively a rainbow palette. Blend Bunny at this point has done quite a lot of rainbow palettes, and that's just them. We're not even talking about other brands and the rainbow palettes that they've done. And I was kind of thinking, do you know what, I might still get it because I'm really, really curious about those shimmers after just having purchased Longing. So, I mean, Longing is not similar, but I'll just show it quickly anyway. So this is Longing, for anyone who hasn't seen Longing. But after trying the shimmers in this and seeing the shimmers in that palette before the full reveal, I was invested, and I think I was like 100% going to get it. But once it was revealed, and it was effectively, yes, another rainbow palette, I was kind of like, oh, I don't know about this now. And the thing is, I mean, Lure I haven't dug into yet. So this is Lure, and you can see it's got, well, it's got 2 purple rows there, and, well, 2 green rows and a blue row. So straight away, I did think to myself, there's gonna have to be some similarities there. And even this is would I say this is less rainbowy? I don't know, but I think the reason why I like Lure is because it's got like this neutral row. I mean, it's a very, very cool toned neutral row, but it's there. So that's what kind of stops it from being your typical rainbow palette. And I do, obviously, we've established blues and greens, and this is heavily blues and greens and purples. So it's kind of inevitable that I would get this, but I feel like it's been balanced because of this row that you can use to get neutral looks. And then, I won't fold that properly because I'll try and hold these up simultaneously. We'll see how well that works. And then you've got Machina here. And again, what stops this from being a rainbow palette is there are some sort of neutral leaning looks that you'll be able to get from this if you want to. You know, you've got this row here, which is, it would give you like a smoky look, so maybe not neutral per se. And again, it's got purple in it, but it's got some pink shades in there as well to kind of break it up. And now that I've seen, like, Deandra, she's done swatches where she's comparing actually a lot of the Blend Bunny palettes with the latest release, the collab with Donny. Can I call her Donny? I don't know, I'm shortening that, but Donidarkowitz, the collab there, and comparing them, and there aren't any dupes. Like, I will say that there are no exact dupes. However, when they're on your eyeballs, they're not really gonna look that different. They just aren't. I don't think they are different enough. I appreciate that she's gone to the trouble to make sure that there are no dupes, but for me, I just don't think it's enough. I was asking the question, I was wondering, because I've not seen Glisten Cosmetics post about if and when this palette's going to be available, because in my mind I was thinking I'll probably pick it up anyway. But I don't know that I will. At least not yet. I think I'm going to wait for it to go on some kind of sale before I pick it up, because I kind of do want it, but I'm all about being mindful about makeup purchases at the moment, and I do have a little bit of palette fatigue, which is very odd for me because I love a palette. I'm like a magpie when it comes to palette. I'm like, some people are like, ooh, shiny. I'm like, ooh, palette. There's a part of me that is like, I need it, I want it, but I'm going to hold out. And it may be that I don't actually pick it up at all, or maybe I'll pick it up down the line for like comparative purposes, I don't know. So that's Machina and Lure, and even I think the reason I picked these up because I felt that they were different enough. These kind of cover the blues and greens I think I'd want to have, and purples that I think I'd want to have from Blend Bunny. And then another thing I was kind of thinking is, I wonder if Blend Bunny have almost shot themselves in the foot a little bit with the format that they've chosen to go with their palette. I know that Sickly Sweet bucks the trend because it's a completely different arrangement of the shadows, but they've almost boxed themselves into a corner a little bit by having this kind of gradient layout within their palettes, and I feel like it's gonna make it very limiting in future to create more colour stories. So I'm almost curious to see what Blend Bunny comes out with next, because I kind of feel like I don't know, I just wonder if they've boxed themselves in a little bit with that format. So in conclusion, will I be picking up the Blend Bunny and Donidarkowitz collaboration, which I think it's Donidarkowitz presents, I'm a terrible YouTuber, I haven't even said the name of the palette. Donidarkowitz presents Little Miss She Never Misses, which I think is quite cute. Will I be picking it up? No, at least not yet. So the other brand that is releasing a palette within days of Blend Bunny is Nomad, and I recently did a video where I tried out the brand for the first time, and I used the New Zealand Stargazing palette, so that's that. I haven't used it on my channel yet, but I plan to. There's a video I have in mind for this specific palette, but this is Wild Atlantic Way, and I'm trying to not show the chaos on my desk. It's a very sort of green heavy palette with like a pop of brown and blue in there. I was intrigued. I had an idea just from the guessing game. Obviously you see some of the shades coming up, and from the description and the location, I think I had in mind a few of the shades that would be in that palette, and I wasn't wrong. But it's one thing to kind of imagine in your mind what a palette might look like, and then to actually see the picture of the reveal. And as palettes go, and it's very hard to achieve at the moment. In fact, at any time now and going forward, it's going to be very difficult to achieve a colour story as unique as the one in this new release. So I think it's I know it's based on Mount Fiji. Where's the name? Is it Fuji Five Lakes? I don't actually know what it's called. Let's go with Fuji Five Lakes. I feel like I'm missing something blatantly obvious. But yeah, Fuji Five Lakes. Do I have every colour in the palette already, in palettes I already own? Probably. But I do not have a palette where shades are curated in this way. And I would be curious to see what looks you can create with the combination that Nomad have chosen to put together within this palette. For the time being, I've kind of watched one video just because I wanted to see some more swatches, basically. And to be honest, a lot of the swatches that I've seen from creators so far have been terrible. The only ones I've liked have been Angie swatches that she's posted. But everything about this, the packaging looks stunning and different. As I say, the combination of shades that they've put together is pretty unique in my mind, but not so but there's still a rhyme and a reason to it. It doesn't look chaotic. It's a cohesive and unique colour story. And this is one that, if you hadn't guessed it, I do intend on picking up. The only issue is for me is being in the UK, postage/shipping of Nomad cosmetic products to me is extortionate. So what I'm going to have to do is order it to my brother and get him to bring it to me next time he's over, which is not going to be until October. I'm not going to have a video up for this. I don't know if I'll do a dedicated video. By the time I get my hands on it, people might be over it. I know what people are like when it comes to makeup, and not even people in general. You can't really dwell on releases because they come up so thick and fast that you just have to keep moving on to the next. But yeah, I've got to say I've been really impressed with the colour story in that Nomad palette and how different it is to anything that I've seen of late. There's not a purple or a green in sight. You've got some blue, but I guess there's shades of teal, which is like a mixture, but there's no like pure blue or pure green in there, and there's no purples at all. I'd kind of jokingly said to myself that I'm going to set a challenge of not buying palettes anymore if they've got a green and or purple and or blue in there. So that might be a little challenge that I'll set myself going forward, that I'm just not allowed to purchase any palettes with those shades in there. It could prove quite difficult but interesting. But yeah, I don't want to sort of go overboard. I just wanted to sort of film something really, really quick, something I could get away with not having to put makeup on and aggravate the eye. And I mean, what are your thoughts on these two releases? Are you going to get either of them, both of them, neither of them? What's your reasoning? I mean, for anyone who hasn't got any Blend Bunny palettes, or, you know, has been holding out, especially if the shimmers are anything like Longing, then Little Miss She Never Misses could be a really excellent first buy from the brand. But for me, as someone who's just acquired the 3 palettes from the brand that I have, it's not something that I need in my life. If I'm going just based on formula and how I expect the shimmers will be, then 100% it would be worth buying. But colour story wise, for me personally, it just doesn't make sense. Whereas Nomad, it's very different to anything that I've bought this year, and possibly even last year if I'm thinking about it. So for me, especially still being new to the brand, it is something that I think would kind of add value and enhance my collection. And as I say, I might pick up the Donidarkowitz and Blend Bunny collab just so I can have it maybe for comparative purposes down the line, but it's not a must-have for me, at least not at the moment. But yeah, let me know what you think. Have you seen these 2 releases? What were your initial thoughts? Did either of them immediately jump out to you as palettes that you felt you needed to run out and buy? It would be really lovely to hear your thoughts about them, and if you intend on buying either of the palettes. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to watch, and hopefully I'll see you again in a video in the not too distant future. Take care. Bye bye.